Everybody online acts like the Mercedes Sprinter is the van to buy. The builds look incredible, the badge carries weight, but mechanics tend to look at vans differently because vans don't make money sitting at dealerships. They make money working. Whether you're hauling tools, running deliveries, or turning one into a camper later, downtime costs money. After 20 years working on Fords, here are 7 reasons I'd buy a Ford Transit before a Mercedes Sprinter or a Ram ProMaster. Reason number 7, the Sprinter hype tax. Everybody wants a Sprinter because the internet told them to. Van builders, YouTube channels, high-end conversion shops. The Sprinter is the aspirational choice, and that aspiration has a price tag attached to it before you even open the door. The base price on a new Sprinter starts around $55,000 to $57,000 in 2026. A comparably equipped Transit comes in around $45,000 to $47,000. That $10,000 gap before you add a single option is the hype tax. You're paying for the badge before you turn the key. Now, if the Sprinter delivered $9,000 more in reliability, service access, or ownership experience in North America, that would be a straightforward trade-off. But for most buyers using a van as a working vehicle, not touring Europe, not running a luxury conversion business, it doesn't. The Sprinter's reputation was built in European markets where the diesel infrastructure, the dealer network, and the service ecosystem were all designed around it. In North America, that ecosystem is thinner. The badge is the same, the support network isn't. Mechanics don't repair Instagram, they repair vans, and the badge on the front doesn't change what happens when the van needs work in rural Ohio at 7 in the morning before a day full of calls. $9,000 up front before a single option is added. Know what you're actually buying with it. Reason number 6, a configuration for every job. Ford built a Transit for almost every job description. Low roof, medium roof, high roof, regular length, long wheelbase, extended, cargo van, crew van, passenger van, 2-wheel drive, all-wheel drive. That's not marketing copy. That's Ford recognizing that an electrician, a plumber, a delivery operation, and a contractor crew all have fundamentally different needs from the same platform. I watched a plumbing company buy 3 identical Transit cargo vans and realized 6 months in that one crew needed high roofs to stand in and work inside, and another crew needed the shorter wheelbase to navigate tight residential streets. The wrong configuration decision became 5 years of daily annoyance. Jobs that took longer, technicians working in cramped spaces, vehicles that didn't fit where the work was. The low roof clears a standard parking structure. The high roof lets a trade person stand upright and actually work inside the cargo area rather than crouching around equipment. The extended wheelbase carries material that could otherwise need a trailer. The crew configuration moves a full team and their gear in one vehicle instead of 2. The Ram ProMaster has some flexibility, but fewer drivetrain and powertrain options, and no all-wheel drive, which we'll get to. The Sprinter offers strong configurations at a premium price per unit. When you're speccing 2 or 3 vans for a small operation, that premium multiplies fast, and the configuration options don't justify it for most North American buyers. One wrong configuration becomes years of daily compromise. Ford offers enough options that you don't have to make that trade-off. Reason number 5, all-wheel drive, available on the vans that matter. Sprinter, all-wheel drive available. Transit, all-wheel drive available, standard on the lineup since the 2020 model year. Ram ProMaster, not available, and as of 2024, Ram discontinued the ProMaster in the US entirely. The last new ProMasters were 2023 model year vehicles, so this comparison now stands at 2 vans, and only one of them offers all-wheel drive from the factory without an aftermarket conversion. For some buyers, that ends the ProMaster conversation immediately and permanently. If you're making service calls on muddy job sites in spring, running deliveries through a Minnesota January, working in any northern state where winter isn't a season but a job condition, 2-wheel drive is a liability, not a preference. There's no aftermarket path to all-wheel drive on a ProMaster that makes engineering sense the way a factory system does. The Transit's all-wheel drive system is built into the platform from the factory. It integrates with the vehicle's traction control and stability systems as Ford intended, not as a conversion bolted on after the fact. That integration matters when the system actually needs to perform. A front-wheel drive van with good tires will handle some winter conditions. An all-wheel drive system that knows what the rest of the vehicle's doing handles them better and more predictably. For some people, all-wheel drive is a feature they check off a list. For others, it's Tuesday morning in February when the job site access road hasn't been plowed and the work still needs to get done. If winter conditions or variable terrain are part of the job, all-wheel drive availability isn't optional. Only 2 vans in this comparison offer it from the factory. Reason number 4, the engine is not a mystery. The 3.5 EcoBoost in the Ford Transit, standard on the lineup since the 2015 model year, is the same engine that's been in F-150s for over a decade. Same core architecture, same strengths, same weak points. Same maintenance habits that keep it running reliably past 200,000 miles in commercial service. That familiarity has real value that never shows up in a spec comparison. Mechanics know this machine. Part suppliers stock it. The service intervals, the known failure points, the things to watch for at 50,000 miles, and again at 100,000. All of it is documented, field-tested, and understood across the Ford service network and the broader independent shop community. When a mechanic who has never worked on a Transit before opens the hood, he's still seen that engine hundreds of times in F-150s. The diagnostic approach is familiar. The conversation is straightforward. The Sprinter diesel has changed twice in the US market. A 3.0 V6 turbo diesel through 2019, then a 2.0 four-cylinder turbo diesel after that. Both are capable engines, both require specific fluid specs, DEF systems, and a tighter circle of technicians who know them well enough to work confidently. That's fine when you're near a qualified shop. It becomes a different conversation when you're not. The ProMaster runs a Fiat-derived powertrain. It works, but it doesn't carry 15 years of real-world documentation behind it the way that the EcoBoost does, from combined F-150 and Transit commercial use across millions of vehicles. Knowing your engine before it needs work is worth something. The EcoBoost is one of the most documented powertrains in North American commercial use. Reason number 3, the cost nobody calculates at the dealership. I had a contractor tell me the Sprinter repair wasn't expensive. Missing 4 days of work was. Purchase price is easy to calculate before you sign anything. Downtime is the number that actually matters when you're depending on a van to generate revenue. And it doesn't appear on any sticker. Sprinter labor rates run higher at any shop qualified to work on it. Parts cost more and take longer to source outside major distribution centers. The diagnostic equipment required is proprietary. A general shop either invests in Mercedes-specific tools or refers the work out, which means you're waiting longer and paying a transfer premium on top of the repair itself. A Transit's labor rates are standard Ford rates at any independent shop or dealer. Parts are priced for a high-volume commercial vehicle that Ford sells in enormous quantities to fleet operators across the country. When something needs attention at 80,000 miles during your busiest week, the difference between a 2-day turnaround and a 5-day wait is not an abstract inconvenience. It has a real number attached to it. The ProMaster is cheap to buy, but the parts supply is thinner than either competitor outside of major metro areas, and the resale value reflects the market's view of long-term ownership costs. A van that costs less to purchase, but more to operate and sells for less when you're done with it is not automatically the economical choice. Purchase price is one number. The cost of your van sitting in a service bay during your busiest week is a different calculation entirely. A quick note. I kept seeing the same patterns on these EcoBoost vans over the years. Certain maintenance gets skipped, small issues become expensive repairs, and owners end up paying for things they could have prevented. So I put together a Ford longevity guide, mileage checkpoints, maintenance intervals, and the problems I watch for before they get costly. Link is below. Reason number 2, parts availability across the country. Ford sold an estimated 150,000 Transits in the US in 2024. a number that was still growing year over year. That volume creates something that doesn't appear in any comparison chart: parts inventory and mechanic familiarity, distributed across the entire country, including the places that are 6 hours from the nearest Mercedes Sprinter certified dealership. The ProMaster is largely out of this conversation now. Ram discontinued new ProMaster sales in the US after the 2023 model year. If you're shopping used, they exist in the market, and everything said earlier about thinner part supply and resale value still applies. But for a new van purchase in 2026, this comparison is still effectively narrowed to 2. A transit part on a shelf in Amarillo, Texas, in Billings, Montana, in rural Georgia, in the kinds of places where working vans actually work. The commercial presence of transits and delivery fleets, trade businesses, and government and utility operations means the supply chain is built out everywhere the van is likely to go, not just in markets big enough to support a European import parts distributor. The Sprinter's parts are available at import pricing through a narrower distribution network, with longer lead times in smaller markets. For a European van operating in Europe, that supply chain makes complete sense. For a van running service calls in the American interior, it creates friction at every single service visit. ProMaster parts availability has improved but remains thinner than Ford outside major metro areas. When you need a specific component on a Tuesday because work starts Wednesday morning and you're not near a large city, thin supply chain stops being an abstraction. Parts on a shelf 2 hours away instead of on order from a regional distributor. That difference is measured in days, not hours. Reason number 1, a mechanic who knows the van, where you actually are. I watched a guy wait almost a week because nobody wanted to touch his Sprinter. Not because the problem was complicated, because the nearest shop with the right diagnostic tools and a technician qualified to stand behind the work was far enough away that getting the van there became its own project on top of everything else. A Sprinter problem in a small town isn't a repair issue. It's a logistics problem. The van isn't broken, your schedule is. Mercedes Sprinter technicians are certified, which means not every dealership has one, and most independent shops won't take the liability without the right proprietary diagnostic equipment. In cities with multiple Mercedes dealerships, this is manageable. Outside those cities, the service network thins out faster than most buyers anticipate when they're standing in a dealership in a major metro area deciding which van to purchase. A Ford Transit van can be worked on by almost every independent mechanic in the country. The 3.5 EcoBoost is one of the most familiar commercial engines in North America. A shop that's never seen a Transit before has still seen that engine hundreds of times in trucks and vans. The diagnostic approach is familiar, the parts are on hand or available quickly, the mechanic isn't calculating whether they have the right tools before agreeing to take the job. That's not a small thing when the van is how you make a living. It's not a small thing when you're 3 states from home and you need to be back on the road tomorrow. When your van breaks 600 miles from home, badges stop mattering really fast. Parts available, mechanic available, everything else on this list leads to this point. The Sprinter gets attention. The Transit gets work done. I'll see you in the next one.